In this particular video, I want to discuss the product list. Within Easy Ads, you have the opportunity to create a product list which can store a whole swag of information that becomes useful and is used on your invoices, your quotes, your purchase orders, etc. By default, when you first enter the product list area, this is all you're going to be seeing. You're just going to be seeing an item and the price column. Now obviously here you can see I've entered a lot of information because I've been doing other videos and putting some examples in place. So as you enter information, of course, it doesn't have to be products, guys. See here it says product or services. It can be that you're charging a specific rate. It could be that I'm digging of trenches. You might have a set rate that you charge your guys out that dig these specific trenches for, I don't know, putting pipe in the ground, whatever it might be, and you might have an hourly rate of $35 that you charge your guys out for. So it can be hourly rates. So however, whatever it is you've written here, this can be products or it can be services, it can be hourly rates. It's an opportunity for you to record information to make it easier and quicker for you to select it. What have we got on the product list here to make it easy for you? Let's say you've got 100 items here on this list, and you know what the item is you're looking for because it happens to have the word bench in the name. You see here, these two have got the word bench. If I just jump up the top here and I start typing, see there, as soon as I put a B, it filters all the information on the screen and gives me back all records containing the letter B. Now if I put an E, oh, it says, hang on, we've now only got 2 records containing the letters BE. This here is used for filtering your information on the screen. Now, one thing you might have noticed, if you've looked at some previous videos, usually we have a select icon here. Because I come into the product list from here, we don't have a select icon because we're not coming in from an invoice or a quote. So naturally, if I'm coming in from an invoice, I'm just going to edit this guy here. I'm coming in from an invoice. We have a select because now I can select this to go onto the invoice. So this is where this particular area becomes useful, because if I've got 200 or 300 entries on the screen and I'm looking for one specific item and I know, like I said before, it contains the word bench, I click BE, I go, okay, that's the one I want, click select. It makes it easier to find, and that's where that becomes extremely useful. So now I'm going to jump back to the product list, and I want to show you a couple more things. Right, on the product list we have a setup icon. If I click setup, it allows us to turn on a product code column and a subcategories column. First of all, I'm just going to turn this column on, and then I'm going to close. It has a help icon which talks all about that, okay? I'm going to close it. Product list. What is a product list used for? Product lists, or the product code number, is useful for purchase orders only. That's the only area it's useful for. If you don't use purchase orders, then the product code is probably going to be relevant for you. But if your organization uses purchase orders and the person you're issuing purchase orders to requires you to have a product code, so there's no mistake, there's no misinterpretation of what the product is that you're ordering, then you can actually give your products a product code. I think we have up to 13 numbers or 13 spaces here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You have 15. You have 15. You have the availability to enter 15 numbers and or letters. It doesn't have to be numbers, guys. It can be letters, depending upon what's required. So the product code, that's what a product code's for. Mainly used for purchase orders. And if you're issuing purchase orders, you know all about what that's for. These videos aren't designed to talk to you about accounting. They're just designed to talk to you about how to use this program. So if you're issuing purchase orders, you know what that's for. I'm going to turn that back off for a second because I don't want there to be any confusion. I'm going to look at subcategories now. If I turn on subcategories, see, it gives us this list here. Now, within Easy Ads, you have the availability to create different categories in different areas. There's a category for project categories. There's a categories for expense categories. They're different types of categories. In the product list, we offer you the facility to create your own pre-designed set of categories. Now, if it just so happens that the categories in this are going to match different categories in other areas and you think, oh, we're doing a lot of doubling up here, not really. Once you've created the category in each area, you don't have to create it again, do you? So what the product list category is for is this. If you do have 200 or 300 entries on the screen of product lists, you might decide, I want to be able to, when I open up the product list, I want to be able to see things grouped together. You might have, for example, this guy here. These are all to do with barbecue settings. So I'm going to create a category in my product list. See that there? I clicked here. I'm going to create a category for my barbecue settings. I'm going to create a category for my hourly rate. And I'm going to create a category for my miscellaneous items. Now, what happens there? When you're creating your product list, you can then assign each item against its own category. And these items here, this was my miscellaneous. Oh, this here was my hourly rate I created a minute ago, wasn't it? So I'm going to get that there. An umbrella, that's for my barbecue. There's my miscellaneous. I'm just going to shove that there. So I'm just shoving this on anything here, guys, so I can give you an example. So what happens is this. If you are in Invoice, and I click, I'm going to add a new item to my invoice. I click select, it opens up my product list, and I can select these items. So if I've got 200 or 300 items on the screen, instantly, and I'm not quite sure what it's called, so up here I could use this to refine it quickly, but I'm thinking I don't know what it's called, but I know it belongs to a member of my hourly rate, because that's what it's for. So I can click hourly rate now, and it's going to bring me up all the items that belong to hourly rate. I can click barbecue settings, it gives me all that there, and I go, oh, that's what it was, it's the umbrella that I'm selecting. So I click select and the umbrella. So you see that? That's another way of refining your information to groups. This tool here is just to make it easy for you. If you only have 10 or 15 items in your product list, then putting it in a category is pretty useless to you. I mean, you're going to see the information on the screen anyway, so you're not going to redefine it. You have an all button here to return everything to the screen. So if this is all say for this guy here, if this is all he ever has in his product list, you're not going to use categories. You just turn them off because it becomes useless. It's just more work for you. So that's basically what I wanted to point out in this particular video. What this information in the setup is for. It's there to make your life easier. That's all it's there for. Of course, down the bottom here, we can export the product list and you can import a product list. There is information on the website about importing of product lists. We initially put this in to be available for importing from the old software that a lot of clients were used to when they moved into this new program. We allowed you to export and import your product list from the old program to the new program. But they also offer you the ability to import other product lists from other organizations. So for example, if you deal with a company that has 100 products, and they might say, well, we've got a full product list here, we can give it to you on a spreadsheet to make your life easier. So instead of going down the spreadsheet and entering everything individually, you can import that spreadsheet and import the whole list without having to type it in. But there is a set criteria. It has to conform to a certain standard that EasyAs wants. And most of the time, the information that people supply you when you're importing, the information is all there. You just need to adjust it to make it easier. You spend 15 minutes adjusting the information, and it saves you 3 hours of typing it in. And it allows you to import via a text format or the spreadsheet format. But go to the website, there's more valuable information on that, very detailed, explains it all.